Hi, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 46 of Power Networking Media's weekly feature program, Spotlight on Small Business. I'm your host, Moshe Klein. Thanks for taking a moment to like this YouTube video and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Spotlight introduces you to successful small business owners who share content and information that you don't want to miss. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome back my friend and networking partner, Jess Jorgensen. Jess is the Chief Technology Officer. I think that's a good title, and a self-described technology geek. Those are her words, not mine, but she's definitely a go-to person for anything technology. Jess, thanks for taking time out of what I know is a very busy day for you to be a guest on our program.
Indeed. Thank you so much for having me, Moshe. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
Jess, it's always a pleasure and a learning opportunity for me when I talk to you. So, I know that there's so many things going on in the world of blush technologies, but I would like to start out the show today by asking you about something you talked about the other day when you and I were at a PNT networking event, and that's cybersecurity and the importance of protecting your passwords. I don't think I mentioned, but in the last 24 hours, true story, Jess, my wife and I had two of our accounts hacked. One was a credit card, a Visa, and the other one was a Best Buy card. And it seems like the problem is getting worse, not better. So I'll let you comment and share a little bit in Reader's Digest form what you told the networking team the other day.
Absolutely, Moshe. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. And you're right, it is going to continue to get worse. The reality is that cybersecurity attacks, so threats, ransomware, all of the things that are listed in that category rose by about 300% between the middle part of 2020 and the end of 2021. And the reason is a lot of things. One, people are distracted. They're not paying as much attention to the emails they get, which is allowing, malicious emails to get through, which are, delivering ransomware and other nefarious things. The other reason is because the work from home movement that happened in the original quarantine, most businesses were really not equipped to handle the security of having all of their staff outside of their walls. Traditionally speaking, maybe 20% of any business's workforce was outside of their actual physical sticks and bricks building, if you will, where they had firewalls and security protocols in place. When people took all of that work on the go and into their homes, they were not equipped to handle that same sort of security. So, people took advantage of that. And, today, even though we have been taught a lot about not having the same passwords for every site and not making them easy to guess and that sort of thing, still about 85% of all breaches, corporate or personal or otherwise, are based on having weak or reused credentials. So the reality is that a hacker only has to guess right one time. Just one time they have to guess. And for most people who carry about 250 different credentials for different sites, it can just open your life to someone who has some malicious ideology and wants to take advantage of the situation, like you were, unfortunately.
Wow, tremendous insight. Let's pull on that thread a little bit, Jess. So now, with COVID, you had always a growing community of home-based small business owners. Mm-hmm. So I think the risk was there. The more people started setting up businesses, working from a home computer setup rather than a more tech-savvy and tech-protected office environment, I think it was chalk up one for the bad guys. But now with COVID, I think you're seeing a lot of that corporate work being sent to the home in less than secure environments. So you said the majority, 85% of all of those breaches were allowed in through weak passwords, my words, not yours. So what can we do? Give us a tip or two.
Yeah.
How often should we change our passwords? Is it an alphanumeric combination? What are the best passwords and how often should we manage them?
Yeah, thank you. That is a really, really good question. The number one tip is going to be never reuse your password. So a lot of people have been taught in the past, and this is not a terrible strategy. However, they might take, let's say, the site they're on and add some characters to it. So it's like mostly the same, but not quite. That kind of strategy has gotten in the hands of folks who want your passwords. So they know what our tactics are based on what we've been taught publicly. The reality of a really secure password is that it should be as many characters as that site will allow. If you can do 18, do 18, okay? And a combination of numbers, characters, upper and lowercase letters that ideally have nothing to do with you. Not a combination of your pet's name, not a combination of your anniversary or your wife's name or anything like that. Something that is just completely obscure and abstract to make it unguessable. So, one of the things we talked about a little bit on Tuesday as well was the social media surveys, right? Like when you go on Facebook and you answer those questions about, what was the name of the street you grew up on, and what was your anyway, those kinds of games and things, they really expose a lot of information for folks that want to take on some social engineering, if you will. You can find a lot of information about people now based on social media and how they respond to those things, enough to really crack some passwords if you want to. So, and the other point about small businesses that you made as well, which is really true, mostly the bad guys kind of stayed away from small businesses because they had bigger fish to fry, right? When they had more time on their hands and knew that everyone was distracted in the middle of a pandemic, they started going after small business. And what they found was that small businesses were much more willing to pay than big corporate entities that might have their security more locked down and have access to their data if it was locked out from ransomware. So unfortunately, they are targeting small businesses now because they know that a lot of us have no option other than to pay and stay in business. And even with that said, most small businesses that do get breached only last about 6 months after a breach, unfortunately, before they have to shutter their doors. So it's a very, very sad statistic. And really the reason that when I came into entrepreneurship and started Blush Technology Group in the middle of this pandemic, I looked around and said, where are my tools to protect me like I was protected in the corporate world? And that's part of the reason I've brought this password, management and hygiene to the entrepreneurship and small business community, because we need it now more than ever.
I want to try. Wait, we are so quickly running out of time. Every time I talk to you, there's just never enough time. But I want to try to squeeze in one and possibly two quick questions with quick answers before I formally extend another invitation to you to come back again. Jess, who are the bad guys? Are they actual people or are they computers? Who's figuring out the passwords?
Sometimes it's both. So the reality is, it takes someone to engineer the bots to create that sort of scenario. Actual humans generally are working on some of the big stuff, but there are mostly bots crawling, a lot of AI use in reading the tones of emails, trying to figure out exactly what they think will open and click on or not. So the answer is both. But the threats, right? These actors who are really taking on this business of being mean, let's be honest, they have started to create kind of like a ransomware as a service scenario. They're working together and sharing information on the dark web on the best ways to get this kind of data out of this demographic population. So there are a lot of people in the back end using a lot of AI and bots to do their dirty work.
Jess, in the remaining 30 seconds that we've got left, let's combine a question that combines networking and small business safety and security. I'm constantly networking with small business owners, and small business owners have a million different concerns. But like you said, a breach of security, getting into a company's database, their clients' information, their bank accounts, they're likely not going to survive it. So who should be reaching out to you for a free and confidential consultation? Who should be calling you to talk about how they operate their business and how they can operate it more safely?
Absolutely. Thank you. So any business owner, if you've got someone from an IT perspective who is running up those things, the solutions we offer are super easy to deploy. They're really easy. It's easier for your staff to utilize the solutions that we have to manage their own business and personal passwords than it is for them to remember them on their own or keep them on a spreadsheet. So really anyone who's in the position of growth, if you have to share your credentials, I talked about social media. If you have someone logging in on your behalf to do some sort of social media posting, a contractor, anything like that, where you're supposed to give them your information, those are the people that should call me right away.
Wow, such excellent advice. Jess Jorgensen, Chief Technology Officer and self-described tech guru from Blush Technology. Thank you again. I know you're a busy lady, so every opportunity we have to chat is really a win for the small business community. What's the best way for our viewers to reach out to you directly and connect?
Absolutely. So you can reach me. My email address is jess@blushtechnologies.com. My phone number is here on the screen. It's 480-608-0450. And you can go to my website actually and schedule time with me directly from there as well.
Priceless advice and information. Thank you again, Jess Jorgensen. This has been another fun and informative episode of Spotlight on Small Business. If you'd like to be a guest on Spotlight, all you've got to do is send an email to team@powernetworkingteam.com, and we'll make those arrangements right away. Until next time and next episode, good luck and good networking, everybody.